Tina,
Hey. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
regards the subject of hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you in the past mentioned to me that you felt hopeless because you were not certain how this recovery for the virus was going to affect you now and if it's going to affect you for your entire life. And I know that you vocalized that to me um, a lot because
Mm-hmm.
you were uncertain about that. So do you mind sharing a little bit more with the general public in regards to what you share with me?
Yes, for sure, Dean. I feel this is very important to share with people who have experience with COVID, because I'm sure everyone felt the same way as I did, is that hopeless and discouraged with the post COVID symptom that we have experienced. Um, yes, during the first 3 months, I have to say the 3 months, first 3 months was the hardest. I was so discouraged and I was afraid that this is how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life with all the symptom of extremely tired, Dean, fatigue. I wasn't able to work at all. Um, constantly not having a deep breath,
Mm-hmm.
not able to do that. I wasn't able to jog or even do any normal activity that I used to do. And it seems like little tiny things difficult to do. So it was discouraged to me. And I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. I noticed now it's going on the 5th month, Dean. I noticed different, the improvement. Now I'm hopeful, you know, compared to the first 3 months, hopeless. Now I'm hopeful. Now I'm much more motivated that I can get back into how I was before, you know. Um, I noticed that I don't feel as tired like the
Mm-hmm.
first 3 months. And I think the reason is because the lung has not been open so much, from the COVID. And because I've been doing a lot of walks from the beginning. And even though it was hard because it was very difficult because sometimes after each walk, we're going to feel like the muscle ache. It's like heavy here. So I have to rest. But if people don't understand, they're going to stop completely. But don't stop. You have to continue walking, especially early in the morning. It's the best fresh air because you fill in the air into your lung and it helps to open. And also the spirometer that you need to blow in and do that every day. And I did that every day. And prone. Those are the three major things that you need to do. I still prone up until today, going on the 5th month now. So by consistently doing this exercise to your lung, daily walks, it doesn't have to be long, but just frequent walks, morning, afternoon, evening, spirometer every hour, a few times, sleep in prone position, do that every day. This will help stretch and expand your lungs where now I'm able to take deep breath and I'm no longer feel tired. So I think what it is because of the lack of oxygen. Because in the beginning we cannot fully, deep take a deep breath,
It's
and that
good
was
that you're providing good examples of what people should do, but I'm going to rephrase the question again
yes.
because I asked about how you felt about being hopeless during that time when you were discharged and still recovering, and I think I have to point the question more because
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you probably asked the physician as to how this is going to affect you, and they weren't exactly certain how it would affect you because they are still going through this at the same time as you, potentially elevated this level of hopelessness that you felt at that time. Would that be a good assessment, or
Yes,
am
yes,
I?
for sure. Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, I clearly remember now because I talked to the pulmonary specialist about my condition, and he said that I do have some scarring in my lungs, and so I
So
asked him.
explain what scarring in your lungs mean.
Well, it's caused by the virus, and it caused by the the multiplication of the virus. in my lung that it fills both of my lungs, which
Okay.
caused an pneumonia. So, and it caused a lot of inflammation and infiltrates during the first couple of weeks in the hospital. But when all the information is gone, the X-ray and also CT scan shows the scarring, and that happened when you have a lot of virus multiplying in your lungs. And,
So when he said that there's going to be scarring in your lungs, I'm
mm,
sure that may have probably frightened you because no one
oh
wants
yeah,
to hear that your lungs are scarred on the inside rather than the outside of your body, right?
absolutely scared the crap out of me. And I said, how would that affect me? And the doctor said, well, it's hard to tell because with this COVID, this is like I mentioned before that this is also very new to all the doctors, the CDC. I mean, it's like everyone's just learning at the same time and sharing information. The patients are showing the doctors and the scientists with a symptom, and the scientist and doctor is like scratch their head and trying to figure out what's going on. You're gonna hear a lot because I saw that in some of the COVID long hauler Facebook, I think, and a lot of them said that doctor don't even know how to help them. It's like everybody have to help themselves in healing this because this is so new to everyone how this virus affect our body because now they discover it's not just respiratory. Well, first they said it's a flu, then they say it's a respiratory disease or virus, but now a lot of doctors said it's not just respiratory virus or disease. This is affecting the whole system. And yes, this is what all of us felt. I mean, I've mentioned it to you in the beginning, Dean, that it's affect not just my lungs, Dean, it's affect my heart, my blood because I can feel it. My lymph nodes because I'm all puffed up. Even right now, my face, my eye is all puffy. I can tell, I can see it, I can feel it. My whole body. Um, and also the nervous system because I can feel it on my nerve, the the eyesight, the vision, it's all
Mhm.
affecting everything. So now they're discovering this, and now they're asking what is the long term effect to each patient, you know? And I discovered all of us have very similar symptom, the same. Some have more than that. It depends, I guess, how bad you have it,
Right.
which point. And so I was really yeah, hopeless when he told me like we don't know for sure how this gonna affect you, how this scar is gonna affect if it's I asked if it's gonna go away and they said they don't know for sure.
So
They
prior to you catching COVID, what was your relationship with, say, doctors? Such as, did you trust your physician, or did you not like to go to doctors?
well before COVID I never liked to go to a doctor.
Okay.
Not the kind of person that go to the doctor often, and I barely got sick in my life, Dean. You knew me for many years and you never seen me sick, you know. I've always been healthy because I worked out a lot. But during COVID, I I was so scared and hopeless. And yeah, I rely on them. I
Okay.
rely
So
on them quietly.
you relied on them when you
Hmm.
did not before.
Yeah.
So, so when you were in the hospital and after your discharge, they became a source of um, information, or what it's what it's called with,
Information, comfort, and everything. It's
right?
like,
So they're called the subject matter expert because the healthcare is their field.
yeah,
So what I'm trying to ask is that, being that they're the subject matter expert and you never used to rely on doctors before, but now you're relying on a doctor because you don't know what's going to happen, and then
right.
to have this, and to have the physician to tell you that they're not exactly certain because they're going through the same thing as
Hmm.
you're going through right now because it's
Yeah.
so new, that must have really affected you because you never really had a good relationship with physicians before, and then now you're forced to rely on them, and yet they weren't able to provide you the
Well, when it's
information what you got. So I'm just trying to peer more into your psyche to understand this.
for sure, Dean. I had to rely more on them because this
Right.
is so scary, experience to me. But when I found out from them telling me that they don't know the answer as well, they learn as much as they're taking care of the patient. Even my own brother, who's a doctor, also told me the same thing, that this is new to everyone. We learn as we heal the patient. Yeah, that's hopeless, scared, um, not knowing where it's gonna go or how I'm gonna be healed. And but in my mind, Dean, I told myself, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do the best I can, because when I used to work out, I know that one thing, that when you begin to train yourself to become healthy, like go for a walk, it's good for you. It's open up your lungs. I mean, that's from what my own understanding. And so I just took charge of doing it. Just go for a walk. I mean, a doctor just like, maybe you should go for a walk, but do very light, don't start right now. But I went ahead and I started walking right away, even though it was very difficult. So it's like I have to I have to be proactive and take charge of my own well-being.
So the primary motivation was self-motivated to get better,
Yes,
even though you felt helpless at the same time.
yes. I've always been a determined person and a fighter, even though I felt hopeless, Dean. But I guess one day I got up, I decided, either I'm going to take charge of my life and I'm just going to keep on walking until I feel better, or I'm just going to lay dead in bed and being hopeless and worse. I have my choice, which one I'm going to do,
Hmm.
right? I can't rely on everyone, even doctor, 100% to the answer. I have to like experience myself, just go walk, you know. Being an athletic person, I used to work out a lot. I mean, it's just easy for me to do that. I feel better when I go outside and walk because it releases stress too. It releases anxiety that I have. And I think that's the right decision, because now I'm glad that I did all that, because there were times when I came back from walk, I felt so painful here, like muscle ache, tight. And I got scared because I didn't know. I thought, oh my God, something's wrong with my lungs again. This happened many times. But then it usually happened 2 days after I go for a long walk. And it's the same thing as workout, Dean. When we work out, lift weights, 2 days after we get soreness, right? So I noticed that pattern, that it's always happen like a second day after I go for too long of the walk or a little harder walk. And after noticing that, I realized, oh, okay, that's the muscle ache that I felt. But the first 2 months, it scared me because I had to call the doctor or go into ER and tell them that I can't breathe or it's very tight. But then the oximeter is great. It's very high, up to 100, my situation. And
Right.
and when they checked me, they said, your vitals are great. That's fine. But I said, how come my chest, my lungs so tight? And it's like, tired to breathe. But then I begin to notice that every after each time when I have a very long, too long to walk, longer than normal, I begin to like recognize that and go, okay, this is the same thing as when we lift weights, same thing. And then it gets better each month. I'm planning to go back into weightlifting next month,
Oh, good.
back to the gym and see how it goes. So you're gonna hear from it and see how I do. So I'm excited about that because now I start to run up the stair that I wasn't able to do before. I just did it this week.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
like, yeah,
Congratulations on that.
yeah, I'm like, wow, this is crazy that I just kept going up where before I couldn't. And I didn't have heart palpitation for like over a month now. So that has to do with the inflammation has gone down. So this is something I need to share too, because I think people will have that. It could be because they still have that inflammation.
Mhm.
Oxygen will heal your lungs, will heal your system. That's the way I see it.
So your hope is based on how your body
Feel.
feels.
Yes. I feel
And
better.
then that increases your hope in your spirit.
Absolutely. And my hope also come from noticing that each symptom that I have has been minimized or disappear. For example, I no longer felt the heart palpitation for 1 month now. I felt it during the first month, second month, and the third month, but the fourth month, no. And now going on the fifth month, I don't feel at all. Even when I start like running upstairs, no way before I would even do that. Just walking. I no longer felt that splitting migraine headache. I no longer have this blurry vision. I no longer have this. Um, I experienced that change, and I think other people will experience that improvement and change as well. So be hopeful, and be thankful that we're here to kind of share information with each other, so we can help each other heal and have a better life and better health.